The gentle hum of the Imperial scanner swept over Earth's surface, cataloging resources and population centers with cold precision. The sleek silver vessel, bearing the crest of the Galactic Empire, maintained its position in high orbit, practically invisible to human detection systems. Officer Tay stood at attention beside the main console, waiting for his commander to finish reviewing the quarterly report. Commander Bay didn't bother looking up from his datapad. Same as always? Yes, Commander. The primitives remain at technological phase 3. Some minor advancements in their digital networks, but nothing concerning. Resource extraction proceeds on schedule. Commander Bay sighed. Earth. Such a waste of a perfectly good habitable planet. He gestured toward the blue sphere visible through the viewport. Beautiful landscapes, rich mineral deposits, and yet the dominant species spends most of its energy fighting over imaginary lines on maps. The assessment team suggests maintaining current classification, minimal monitoring, standard resource quotas, technological suppression is needed, Officer Tay reported. They pose no threat to Imperial interests. Approved. We'll return in 6 months. Set course for the Rigel outpost. As the Imperial vessel disappeared into hyperspace, neither officer gave Earth another thought. It was just one of thousands of similar worlds scattered throughout Imperial territory, useful for resources but otherwise unremarkable. 3 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Moon wiped sweat from her forehead as she calibrated the final energy matrix. The chamber around her hummed with power, illuminating the sleek lines of the vessel suspended in its center, a ship unlike anything humanity had built before. Power flow stabilized at 87%, her assistant, Technician June, called out. That's 12% better than our last test. Dr. Moon nodded, her eyes never leaving the diagnostic display. The improved interface between our systems and the salvaged Imperial tech is working. How's the stealth coating performing? Absorption rate at 93%. According to our models, Imperial scanners would register us as background radiation at most. The Phoenix prototype represented 5 years of secret work. After the first Imperial scout ships had arrived 15 years earlier, humanity had learned harsh lessons about galactic politics. The Empire didn't conquer Earth outright, they simply didn't consider it worth the effort. Instead, they established collection points, demanded resources as protection payments, and occasionally destroyed facilities that showed signs of advanced technological development. Dr. Moon had been a graduate student when the Empire's ships first appeared in Earth's skies. She remembered the chaos, the fear, and eventually, the resignation as humanity realized its place in the cosmic hierarchy. But what the Empire didn't understand was that humans had something the Empire had long forgotten, the drive born from being underestimated. Director Shin is here, June whispered, standing straighter as the facility's civilian leader entered the chamber. Director Shin moved slowly around the prototype, his weathered face revealing nothing of his thoughts. After completing a full circuit, he turned to Dr. Moon. Will it work? The Phoenix incorporates everything we've learned from studying their technology, Dr. Moon answered. Their ships prioritize power and size over efficiency. We've gone the opposite direction, smaller, faster, more adaptable. And they won't see us coming. The Empire has thousands of warships, Director Shin reminded her. We have one prototype. We don't need to match them ship for ship, Dr. Moon replied. We just need to show the galaxy that they aren't invincible. An alarm sounded from June's console. Imperial scout ship detected entering Earth's orbit. Standard patrol pattern. The 3 humans watched the overhead display tracking the alien vessel's progress. As always, it performed a cursory scan before moving on. The Empire saw only what it expected to see, a primitive world slowly recovering from the shock of first contact, offering no resistance to Imperial demands. They didn't even scan the oceans thoroughly, June noted. They never do. Pride, Director Shin said quietly. The Empire has ruled for so long they've forgotten what it means to be challenged. Dr. Moon turned back to the Phoenix, its hull gleaming under the facility lights. 2 more weeks of testing. Then we begin crew selection. The prototype represented humanity's greatest achievement and its most dangerous secret. Built from stolen knowledge and human determination, it waited silently in its underwater cradle, unseen by Imperial eyes that couldn't be bothered to look closely at the supposedly primitive planet. Earth might be overlooked, but its people hadn't surrendered. They had simply learned to hide their strength until the moment was right to reveal it. The Imperial collection vessel Dominance descended through Earth's atmosphere like a metallic mountain, 4 times larger than any ship humans had seen before. Its shadow fell across New Geneva, the designated meeting point for Earth's representatives and Imperial officials. The ground trembled under its repulsor engines as it settled on the landing field. President One stood with his council, trying to maintain a calm expression despite the ship's intimidating size. The annual resource collection had never involved such a display of force before. "Something's different," whispered Vice President Min. "This isn't their usual protocol." Before President One could respond, the ship's main ramp extended. Commander Du emerged flanked by 8 Imperial guards in full battle armor. Unlike previous Imperial representatives who at least maintained a veneer of diplomacy, Commander Du wore his contempt openly. "Greetings, Commander," President One began, following the established formalities. "Earth welcomes." "Silence," Commander Du interrupted. "The formalities are no longer necessary." He activated a holographic display showing resource quotas. "By order of the Central Imperial Authority, Earth's contribution will increase by 300%, effective immediately." A murmur of shock rippled through the Earth delegation. Such an increase would devastate their already strained economy and lead to widespread shortages. "Commander," President One said carefully, "we have always met our obligations to the Empire, but this increase is impossible. Our infrastructure cannot." Commander Du raised his hand, silencing the president. "The decision is final. Further resistance will be considered rebellion." His cold eyes surveyed the delegation. "Perhaps you need a reminder of the consequences of defiance." With a subtle gesture to his communication officer, Commander Du initiated what would become known as the Sydney Massacre. On viewscreens across the meeting area, the delegation watched in horror as Imperial fighters launched from the Dominance's hangars and streaked across the sky toward Australia. "Stop this," President One pleaded. "We can negotiate." Commander Du watched impassively as the Imperial fighters released their payloads. The assembled representatives could only stare in stunned silence as Sydney's iconic harbor and surrounding areas erupted in flames. The death toll would later be calculated at 3 million souls. "The Empire has grown tired of your planet's mediocrity," Commander Du stated flatly as the screens showed burning buildings and fleeing civilians. "You will meet the new quotas, or next time we will choose a more populous target." As the Imperial delegation returned to their ship, Vice President Min turned to President One, her face ashen. "They've never done this before. Why now?" "Resources are becoming scarcer throughout the galaxy," said Defense Minister Choi, who had remained silent during the meeting. "The Empire must be facing pressures we don't understand." The emergency session of Earth's Unified Council began 3 hours later. Representatives from every region gathered virtually, many still in shock from the Sydney attack. Imperial monitoring meant they couldn't speak freely, but coded phrases and carefully worded statements conveyed their true intentions. "Our compliance must be immediate and visible," President One stated for the benefit of any Imperial listeners. Then, using the hand signals developed for such communications, activate all contingency plans. Across Earth, secret preparations accelerated. In the underwater facility, Dr. Moon received the emergency authorization code. Her team had expected 2 more weeks of testing for the Phoenix prototype. They now had 12 hours. "Begin crew boarding," she ordered, watching as the selected pilots and officers, all trained in simulator for months, began arriving through the secure elevators. Weapons check and final system diagnostics. Captain Yoon, formerly of Earth's United Defense Forces, arrived last. She had been Dr. Moon's first choice to command the Phoenix, a brilliant tactician with unconventional thinking and steady nerves. "The mission parameters have changed," Dr. Moon explained as they walked toward the ship. "This isn't a test run anymore. The Empire has shown its true intentions." Captain Yoon nodded grimly. Sydney was just the beginning. They're not here to collect resources anymore, they're making an example of us. As the Phoenix's systems came online, its revolutionary engines humming with power, Director Shin appeared on the main communication screen. His face showed the strain of recent events. "The Empire believes we are broken," he told the assembled crew. "They think this demonstration of force will cow us into submission. They have forgotten what humans do when cornered." He paused, looking at each face on his screen. "You carry humanity's response. May you fly true." The Phoenix rose from its cradle as the facility's massive underwater doors slid open. For the first time, humanity's secret weapon emerged, a ship born from stolen technology and human determination, invisible to Imperial sensors and carrying weapons the Empire had never faced. The first battle of Earth's rebellion was about to begin. The Phoenix cut through ocean waters like a silver knife, rising toward the surface with barely a ripple. Its stealth systems activated automatically, bending light and absorbing energy signatures. To any observer, human or Imperial, the area remained empty ocean. Captain Yoon stood at the command center, hands clasped behind her back. Despite years of simulation training, this was her first time actually commanding the vessel. The bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency, each member selected not only for skill but for psychological stability under extreme pressure. "Surface breach in 5 seconds, Officer Jean announced from the navigation station." The Phoenix broke through the waves, water cascading off its dark hull. Unlike the bulky Imperial designs, the ship was sleek and compact, resembling an arrowhead. It hovered momentarily before ascending with astonishing speed. "Atmospheric exit in 30 seconds, Officer Jean continued. All systems nominal." Captain Yoon kept her expression neutral, though her heart raced. This vessel represented Earth's greatest achievement and possibly its last hope. She studied the tactical display showing the Imperial collection vessel and its escort of 3 patrol ships in high orbit. "They're maintaining standard formation," noted Tactical Officer Hack. "No indication they've detected us." "Of course not," said Engineering Officer Gill from her station. "The arrogant fools never bothered to develop proper stealth technology. Why would they? No one has challenged them in centuries." The Phoenix pushed through the upper atmosphere, the blue sky gradually darkening to the star-filled blackness of space. The Earth curved magnificently below them, but no one on the bridge had time to appreciate the view. "Weapon status?" Captain Yoon asked. "Quantum disruptors at full charge. Targeting systems aligned," Officer Hack reported. "The reverse-engineered Imperial shields we borrowed give us their exact frequency vulnerabilities." Captain Yoon studied the display. The Imperial ships maintained their position, unaware of the danger approaching. Their scanners were calibrated to detect known energy signatures, and the Phoenix had been specifically designed to emit none. "Communications blackout confirmed," Communications Officer Su announced. "We're completely silent." Captain Yoon made her decision. "Plot intercept course with the nearest patrol ship. Maximum stealth approach." The Phoenix glided toward its target, engines running at minimal power. The Imperial patrol ship, a vessel 3 times larger than the Phoenix, continued its lazy orbit, sensors pointed outward for external threats rather than anything launching from the primitive planet below. "In range," Officer Hack announced. "Targeting their propulsion systems in weapons array." Captain Yoon took a deep breath. This would be humanity's first act of open rebellion against the Empire. Once it began, there would be no turning back. Fire! The quantum disruptors released energy that phased directly through the Imperial shields as if they weren't there. The patrol ship's engines exploded in a soundless flash, followed by secondary explosions along its hull. "Target neutralized," Officer Hack reported, voice tight with controlled excitement. Their shields never activated. They didn't even know what hit them. Alarms blared across the Imperial fleet as the disabled patrol ship drifted, atmosphere venting from multiple hull breaches. The remaining vessels scrambled to battle positions, but they were looking for a threat matching their understanding of warfare. "Second target acquired," Officer Hack stated. "Ready to fire." Captain Yoon nodded. "Fire." Another patrol ship erupted in flames, its weapon systems destroyed before they could target anything. Confusion reigned across Imperial channels as officers demanded explanations for an attack they couldn't detect. "The collection vessel is powering weapons," Officer Su warned. "They're firing blindly in all directions." Captain Yoon watched as the massive Imperial ship launched energy blasts in a desperate attempt to hit an enemy it couldn't see. "Maintain position in their sensor shadow," she ordered. "Let them waste energy." The final patrol ship attempted to retreat, accelerating toward open space where it could jump to faster-than-light travel and summon reinforcements. "We can't let them escape," Officer Jean warned. "If they report this..." "They won't," Captain Yoon said firmly. "Match their course. Full power to weapons." The Phoenix surged forward, finally revealing itself as it abandoned stealth to gain speed. The Imperial vessel detected the pursuit and increased power to its engines, but the Phoenix was faster. A final volley of quantum disruptors tore through the patrol ship's engines, leaving it dead in space. Only the collection vessel remained, now frantically broadcasting distress calls. "Should we finish it?" Officer Hack asked, hands hovering over the weapons controls. Captain Yoon considered the options. "No. Let them live. I want them to deliver a message." She activated the communications system, allowing the Phoenix to be seen for the first time. "Imperial vessel," she transmitted. "Today you learned that Earth is no longer defenseless. Tell your superiors, the era of Imperial plunder is over." The Phoenix banked sharply, heading back toward Earth as the stunned Imperial commander watched. The demonstration was complete. The next phase of the plan could begin. Commander Ho stared at the tactical display with growing frustration. 20 Imperial warships, enough firepower to subjugate an entire system, and still they couldn't catch one rebel vessel. The Phoenix had appeared and disappeared like a ghost for the past 6 hours, striking without warning and vanishing before they could respond. "Another communication relay destroyed," reported his second-in-command. "That's the fourth one. We're now completely cut off from Imperial command." Commander Ho slammed his fist on the console. When his battle group had been dispatched to crush the Earth Rebellion, he had expected a simple operation. Instead, they faced an enemy that refused to fight according to established Imperial doctrine. "They're using the asteroid belt to mask their movements," he growled. "Primitive tactics from a primitive species." On the Phoenix, Captain Yoon watched the Imperial fleet's movements with careful attention. Their formation remained rigid, exactly as the tactical simulations had predicted. Imperial commanders followed textbook responses developed over centuries of unchallenged dominance. "They're splitting their forces," Officer Hack noted. "Four vessels are circling back toward Earth." Captain Yoon nodded. "Just as we wanted. Signal the ground teams." Across Earth's surface, hidden resistance cells activated. As the Imperial ships entered low orbit to begin their intimidation bombardment, they suddenly found their targeting systems scrambled by precisely calibrated interference patterns. "What's happening?" demanded Commander Ho when the reports reached him. "How are these primitives jamming our systems?" The answer came moments later when the Phoenix emerged from behind Mars, accelerating directly toward the main Imperial formation. Unlike previous hit-and-run attacks, this time the Earth vessel showed no signs of retreat. "They're on a suicide run," Commander Ho declared. "All vessels, concentrate fire." But the Phoenix moved with impossible agility, changing course faster than the Imperial gunners could adjust their aim. The massive energy weapons designed to obliterate capital ships proved useless against a target that refused to follow predictable patterns. Now, Captain Yoon ordered as the Phoenix slipped between two Imperial cruisers. Officer Gil activated the ship's secret weapon, a modified version of Imperial shield technology that projected outward instead of inward. The energy field expanded rapidly, disrupting the carefully calibrated systems of both Imperial vessels. Warning alarms blared across the Imperial ships as critical systems failed. "Structural integrity compromised," came the panic report from one of the cruisers. "We're losing containment." Commander Ho watched in disbelief as the two mighty warships drifted helplessly, their power cores shutting down to prevent catastrophic overload. Such a weapon should be impossible. Shield technology had never been weaponized in this manner before. Fall back and regroup, he ordered. Maintain distance from that vessel. But the Phoenix had already disappeared again, using the disabled Imperial ships as cover for its next maneuver. Captain Yoon studied the tactical display with satisfaction. The Imperial fleet was now scattered, their tight formation broken by fear of another shield disruption attack. Their commander is getting desperate, she observed. He's gathering his remaining ships for a massive assault on Earth. He thinks we'll sacrifice ourselves to protect the planet. Officer Jean looked concerned. They still have enough firepower to cause significant damage. True, Captain Yoon agreed. But predictable. Launch Phase 3. From Earth's moon, hidden installations activated. Dozens of small, unmanned drones, each one barely the size of a shuttle, launched toward the regrouping Imperial fleet. They carried no weapons, only the same shield disruption technology as the Phoenix. Commander Ho didn't notice the approaching drones until it was too late. His sensors, calibrated to detect large energy signatures, overlooked the tiny craft until they were already among his fleet. Evasive maneuvers, he shouted, but the order came too late. The drones detonated their shield disruptors simultaneously. Across 15 Imperial warships, systems failed and power cores shut down. Ships designed to operate with crews of thousands became dead metal, drifting in space. On his flagship, now one of only 3 functional vessels remaining, Commander Ho faced a decision he had never imagined possible: retreat or destruction. All functional ships, prepare for emergency jump, he ordered, his voice hollow with defeat. We must inform the Empire of this new threat. As the remaining Imperial ships engaged their faster-than-light drives, the Phoenix emerged from hiding once more. Captain Yoon watched them flee, knowing what would happen next. The Imperial command would not accept this defeat. They would send more ships, bigger ships, but now they would come prepared for Earth's technology. They'll be back, Officer Hack said, voicing everyone's thoughts. Captain Yoon nodded. Yes. But next time, we won't be fighting alone. She activated the communication system. Send the signal to all resistance contacts throughout Imperial space. Operation Phoenix is successful. Phase 1 of liberation has begun. Across the galaxy, on dozens of subjugated worlds, hidden receivers picked up the encrypted message. Earth had proven the Empire could be defeated. The Imperial Senate chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives from 100 systems shouted over each other as the holographic display showed the battle data from Earth. Admiral Q, commander of the Imperial Defense Force, stood rigidly at attention while the Emperor himself watched from his elevated throne. Impossible, declared the Senate leader, banging his ceremonial staff. A primitive world cannot defeat an Imperial battle group. Admiral Q swallowed hard. The recordings do not lie, honored Senate. 20 Imperial warships. Only 3 returned. He gestured to the display where the Phoenix could be seen executing maneuvers that defied conventional space combat tactics. They have developed technologies we believed beyond their capability. The Emperor leaned forward slightly, his ancient face revealing nothing. How did this happen, Admiral? We underestimated them, Divine Emperor. Earth was classified as a resource world, not worth full integration. Our presence there was minimal. On the other side of the galaxy, Captain Yoon stood before a very different gathering. Representatives from 7 formerly subjugated worlds had risked everything to travel secretly to Earth. They gathered in the underground facility where the Phoenix had been born, their eyes wide with hope and disbelief. The recordings have spread throughout the Empire, said the delegate from Proxima Centauri, a tall woman with scaled skin. Your victory has inspired rebellions on 12 worlds already. Dr. Moon displayed the schematics for the Phoenix. We will share our technology with all who wish to join the alliance. The shield disruptors, the stealth systems. Everything. How many ships like the Phoenix do you have? Asked another delegate. Captain Yoon exchanged glances with Director Shin before answering truthfully. Currently just 1. But 5 more are under construction. And with your help, we can build fleets. Back in the Imperial Senate, the debate had turned to retribution. "We must crush this rebellion immediately," insisted the military minister. "Send the 7th Fleet. Reduce Earth to ash." The Emperor raised one finger, silencing the chamber instantly. "Admiral Q. If we deploy the 7th Fleet, what are the chances of victory?" Admiral Q hesitated. "Divine Emperor, the humans have shown they can neutralize our technology. If they have shared this capability with other worlds." He left the implications unspoken. "Then we face not one rebellion, but potentially dozens," the Emperor concluded. He turned to his chief diplomat. "Prepare a delegation. We will offer Earth terms." On Earth, production facilities worked around the clock. The Phoenix had proven the concept, now Earth needed a fleet. Captain Yoon walked through the massive underground hangar where 4 new vessels took shape, each incorporating improvements based on combat data. "The Empire will return," Officer Su warned as they inspected the newest ship. "And they won't underestimate us again." "Let them come," Captain Yoon replied. "Every day gives us more allies." She activated a nearby display showing reports from across the galaxy. The Imperial grip was weakening as subject worlds recognized a new possibility: freedom. Director Shin joined them, bringing news from the diplomatic front. "We've received a communication from the Imperial capital. They're sending representatives to discuss Earth's position within the Empire." Captain Yoon raised an eyebrow. "They want to negotiate? That's unexpected." "Fear will do that," Director Shin said with a thin smile. "They've ruled through intimidation for so long they don't know how to respond when someone stands up to them." 3 days later, the sleek diplomatic vessel arrived in Earth orbit. Unlike the warships of previous visits, this one came alone and announced its peaceful intentions. The negotiations would begin the next day. That night, Captain Yoon stood on a balcony overlooking the rebuilt Sydney harbor. The city still showed scars from the Imperial attack, but people moved about their business with new energy and purpose. "Thinking about tomorrow?" Dr. Moon asked, joining her at the railing. "Thinking about how much has changed," Captain Yoon replied. "1 month ago, we were subjects. Tomorrow, we negotiate as equals." Dr. Moon nodded toward the stars. "Not just equals. The latest reports show 8 more worlds in open rebellion. The Centauri system has already driven out their Imperial governors." "This is just the beginning," Captain Yoon said softly. "The Empire has stood for 1,000 years, built on the belief that no one could challenge them. We proved that belief wrong." In his private chamber, the Emperor studied reports of spreading rebellion with ancient, tired eyes. For the first time in centuries, the Empire faced a true threat not from without, but from within. All because they had ignored one seemingly insignificant blue planet. As dawn broke over Earth, Captain Yoon donned her formal uniform to attend the negotiations. The Phoenix, symbol of humanity's defiance, orbited visibly above, a reminder to the Imperial delegation that the old relationship was gone forever. Earth had been overlooked, underestimated, and ignored. Now it stood ready to reshape the galaxy. Retriclod can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.